concisely can I talk about a video that I've just watched? It's presented by Adam, and the present of Adam ruins everything. I'm very enticed by his ideas. That doesn't matter. It was about how our notion of decades was replaced by the notions of generations, right? Like Generation Z, Generation X, and how that shifted our perception. Basically, that would be the summary. From a shared experience, from the past, a moment of shared experience, like the 90s, the 80s, everyone lived, experience. What was that? What was that experience? And this notion was replaced by the no one speaks in terms of decades anymore. He explained a little more. I'm trying to be more concise here with the idea of generation. And the idea of generation gives an impression, or feels more like a divisive experience of a present moment. Right? Each generation seems to have their own notion of reality, although we're talking about same period of time. That would be it. That's the most concise. And then he was kind of, I see in Adam, kind of, I watched two of these videos, and he seems to have not a nostalgia. He seems to want to go back to a former way of perceiving the world. Another video was talking about how capitalism killed the stars, the big stars. The big stars, in comparison to today's stars, they were more relevant. Right? They brought the human power to the center of gravity. Let's just say, I'm just trying to flow my expression. I'm not trying to embellish my speech or anything. While here, nowadays, what possesses the power now, it's in the hand of the producers, who can just shift their cast and pay less, since they have other means of promoting their product, like movies, right? Talking about movies. Because, yes, we see that there is a good thing about the humans, about the decades and the generation. And he was talking, so, right, decades, notion of decades being replaced by the notion of generations. It feels like, he also mentioned how we have been referring to time periods in terms of post traumatic experience, like post 9/11, post pandemic now. So he ends the video saying, welcome to the 20s, five years later, right? Because we're 2025, to go back to everyone experiencing the reality as one big decade, one big chunk. I don't know if he does it on purpose. If it's obviously, I always question. That's a normal thing. I always question the genuinity of everyone in everywhere. Right? I'm not naive to accept that a character on a TV, like maybe Adam is a character. He has people who write for him. I don't know if he writes it himself. I have no idea what's going on. But it felt a bit, sometimes feels a bit naive, but it feels like he's not considering. He considers a lot of interesting things, obviously, to back his explanation. Very interesting. I'm not trying to, to be critical of that. I'm just expressing my opinion in the sense that the decades back in the time, although we named it and it seemed to have a name, I'm pretty sure people also had their own divisive experience of what it was, right? Depending on it's not like a universal feeling, like it's made to believe. It's not that simple. Even there's linguistic. He mentioned linguistic evidence. He didn't say the names. He didn't say any specific study, right? Where it comes from, how was it carried out? Because, you would have to question too deep into linguistic evidence of how people experience the world differently according to the language they use. if it's not exactly like this. I know I've read about this. I can't name anymore. All the names vanished. I don't know any reference right now other than a few ones. But there's people who also question that, right? That doesn't mean... So it's not like a black and white, but it's interesting evidence. At the same time, the idea of generation now, yes, we don't have a name for the decades, correct? We have other notions of time, but again, I think that's due to the evolution of the human thinking, the human communication, now the idea, the globalization. The human mind and the human is more aware of a lot of things, so it's more aware that there are these divisions, right, generation. They are within, they're just being named now or perceived, right? So it feels even like you're trying to reverse something that is the normal evolution of the human mind. It almost feels like that. But that was it. I don't think I had anything else to add to that's basically that. I think the language reflect an evolution in the way people perceive reality. So I think the shift from decades to generation was inevitable.